Well, it's a wrong question to ask. The right question is, can you win the battle all by yourself? If you can win the battle to get admitted to top-notch schools like Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Kellogg and all, then there is no point of hiring a business school consultant. Just ask yourself, if you can fight your legal battles, will you ever hire a lawyer? If I can win my legal battles, I won't ever hire a lawyer. If I can fix my own car, will I ever hire a car mechanic? The answer is no. There is no need to hire a mechanic if I can do it all by myself. So those applicants who are confident enough that they can win the battle all by themselves by virtue of having an excellent GMAT, or maybe they are working in Google or Facebook, or they have an extraordinary extracurricular profile, they do not need to hire a business school consultant. Now, having said that, the vast majority of applicants, whoever is applying to business school in US, Europe and Canada, they don't have such extraordinary rockstar profile. So they do use the service of business school consultants. The competition to get admitted to top 10 B school in America and Europe is very intense. Okay, business school usually have the acceptance of around 10 to 12% of the applicants every year. And it is even smaller for top 5 schools. Schools like Stanford has got around 6% acceptance ratio, right? And it is even more intense for Indians and Chinese and other Asians because of the sheer number of applicants who apply to the top-notch B schools in America. 10% of the applicants are getting admitted every year. That means 90% of the applicants are getting rejected every year, right? So that's the mathematics. So because of this intense competition to get admitted to business school, applicants use an MBA admission consultant. If you think about the question from a very different angle, how many applicants, whoever is applying to schools that are ranked between 90 to 100 in the FT MBA ranking list, how many of such applicants are hiring an MBA admission consultant? No one approached me with a request that they need my guidance to apply to a school that is ranked kind of school number 92 or 95 in the FT list. Okay, so applicants who are applying to the top 10 or top 15 business school in US, Canada and Europe, they are predominantly using the service of MBA admission consultant. Because just imagine the competition to get into Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Kellogg, London School of Business, INSEAD. And if you even see the competition in the some of the Indian business schools like ISB and the PGPX programs of some of the IIMs, those are also very, very competitive. So that answers the question that do you need to utilize the service of an MBA admission consultant? Well, there is no straightforward yes or no answer. It all depends on the applicant and who is helping the applicant. The profile of the person, the profile, his wisdom, his intellect, his experience on the business school application process, as well as his mentoring skill. Now, I will explain this question with the help of a case study. I would request you to see the video of this guy. His name is Nasir. He was an applicant from Pakistan. Throughout his career, he has worked in various business ventures in Pakistan, in Hong Kong, in Dubai, okay? And he has been involved in various businesses. And he even worked as an advisor to various top-notch companies in Pakistan. And first time he applied to business school, he applied to LBS, Kellogg, Harvard, Wharton, Stanford, MIT Sloan. So first time when he applied to business school, he actually took the help from his wife. His wife, incidentally, is a graduate from Columbia. So she helped her husband in the MBA application process. So what happened? The result was not very good. He was rejected by all the schools, okay? And then he approached me for assistance with his application. Now, when I reviewed his applications, I saw one typical pattern. In all his essays and short answer questions, as well as on his recommendations also, he was talking more and more on his extracurricular activities. He helps a lot of charities in Pakistan, and via all this essay, he was trying to prove that he is a very good citizen of the country. He respects women, he loves children, and he is an excellent citizen of Pakistan. That was his prime theme all across the essays. And during the brainstorming session, when I asked him that why did he not talk about his excellent experiences in various businesses. I mean, he worked as a strategic advisor in some top 5 companies in Pakistan. He himself is a businessman and he has a pretty large business. And I asked him, and I was curious that why he did not talk about those subjects. Well, the answer he gave me was pretty typical. He said that, well, he wanted to differentiate himself from other Asian applicants. And he knows that Asian applicants will be talking about their professional achievements and all. So he wanted to differentiate himself from the crowd. And in this endeavor, so he thought, and his wife agreed, that they actually made the application that centered around his extracurricular activities. I mean, the kind of help he provided to various NGOs. Even his wife launched an NGO, a non-profit in Pakistan that helps millions of women all across Pakistan. So, and he is kind of a strategic advisor to that non-profit. So I asked him that, is it only the differentiation that you wanted in your application, and that is the reason you talked about all this non-profit experience so extensively? And his answer was also pretty typical. He said that, well, I went to various forums like GMAT Club and Beat the GMAT and other forums, and there I interacted with various members, and all of them advised me that in order to differentiate myself, I need to talk more on my extracurriculars. That is the reason. So all his business experiences was pretty much on his resume, but he did not talk about those things. He picked up all his experiences in extracurriculars and spoke on those subjects. Well, BSchool really love to accept applicants who have demonstrated a holistic approach on leadership. I mean, people who have demonstrated leadership both inside as well as outside the office. But that doesn't mean that business school wants to accept applicants who focus solely on extracurricular activities. I mean, business school, the very name business school, I mean, they stands for business. They are here to prepare a business leader. I mean, whenever you are applying to a business school, in case you are an MBA applicant, you have probably 3 to 5 years of work ex. And in case when you are applying for an EMBA program, you have around 12 to 15 years of work ex. So when business school is accepting a person for MBA education, they know that the person has 3 to 5 years of work ex, so he is a young leader. He has some experience in the professional world, and now we need to make him a far better leader in the corporate world. And whenever they are accepting some guy for an EMBA program having some 15 years of work ex below his belt, they know that, well, we are already taking a guy who is kind of mid-career professional. This guy has demonstrated his leadership potential in various job roles. So now we need to take that guy and make him fit for senior leadership roles, the C-level roles in global organization. So business school, the very name stands for business. I mean, MBA stands for Masters of Business Administration. So graduates of MBA as well as EMBA program need to be a master of their craft. And their craft is that they know how to manage a business. Managing a business is the primary job. After managing a business, certainly you can help a non-profit. Somebody can play a sport, somebody can be interested in music, but those are secondary. Just for the sake of differentiation, if you are not firing your primary weapon, which is your professional skills, if you are not doing that, you are doing a tremendous disservice. Now, during my brainstorming session with Nasir, I told him this. Initially, he did not trust me because he said, well, I have seen this repeatedly all across various GMAT forums and MBA forums that people talk about differentiation. He was actually applying for EMBA programs. So he said that, well, every EMBA applicant will talk about their professional achievements. Everyone has 12 to 15 years of work ex. Everybody is working in various big companies. So what is the point? How will I differentiate myself? And well, it took quite a lot of time to convince him that business school means business. If you are not projecting your business skills, if you believe that that is simply on your resume and B school will just read the resume, that is not the case. They want to see things in your essays, that how you feel about your own leadership. What's your perception about your leadership skills, about your leadership personality, about your leadership styles. So you need to talk about your leadership things in the essays, as well as you need to tell your recommenders to talk about more and more on your prime business skills. He worked with me for almost 5 to 6 schools, and then he got selected to Chicago Booth and LBS. And finally he chose LBS. So that sums up, with this case study, I want to sum up the answer that in case you have any friend or relative who is helping you, that is really good. You can save your money. You do not need to hire a B school consultant. But it also depends on the experience, the wisdom, and the intellect of that person. It depends. It very much depends on you, your consultant, and the chemistry you two strike during the process. Okay, primarily it depends on you because it is your responsibility to scout for a B school consultant. Typically, you will go to Google and type the best admission consultant in the world. You will get 50 websites, and then you see the website, you review the website, and that gives you a feeling about the company or the consultant. And then maybe out of the 50 you select 10, and out of the 10 maybe you call up 5-6, and then maybe you see their testimonials, you see their profile, you see their blogs, okay? Or maybe you go to you browse the GMAT forums and MBA forums, and there someone recommends you a consultant, and that is the typical way, okay? People select a consultant. Well, I believe that it is a good method to scout a consultant in that way, but not the very best method. The very best method in my mind is to see the testimonials in a consultant's website. Typically the video testimonials are the most authentic testimonials, or testimonials via LinkedIn, because there you can see an actual person, you can see his name, you can just copy his name and go to Google and find out that whether the person, whoever is giving the recommendation or the testimonials, whether that guy exists, whether that guy really went to a business school. So in that way, you can really be sure about the authenticity. 6 to 7 years back, I used to ask applicants to give me some testimonials, and it was all either text, okay? That was the old method. And there was a big problem in the old method because there is really no way to know who actually wrote the testimonials. So there were a lot of fake testimonials, and there were a lot of problems. So in today's world, the video testimonials are the most authentic ones, or testimonial that people gather via LinkedIn. Okay, I know there are other platforms as well, like there are Trustpilot and other forums, or Poets and Quants, for example. Yes, those forums do exist. Those places do exist, and you can certainly check the testimonials there. But keep one thing in mind: not every consultant is listed in Poets and Quants, or not every consultant takes the service of Trustpilot, because simply Trustpilot is a premium website. Consultant has to pay some money to get enrolled to basically to take their service. Regarding Poets and Quants, not every consultant has their presence in Poets and Quants. So in case you get any testimonials in Poets and Quants, Trustpilot, that is definitely okay. But video testimonials in the websites or LinkedIn testimonials. There you can see a person you can contact the person via LinkedIn. You can talk to the person regarding the consultant, how was his experience. And that is, in my opinion, the best way to go. If in your office, your supervisor gives you the responsibility to select a junior guy for your team, what is the best way to select the guy? The best way is to see his references, to talk to his previous boss in case the guy has some work experience, either his boss or anyone with whom he has worked, because any person can impress you in interview, because interview is only for 10 minutes or half an hour. So in half an hour, anyone can pretend to be anything. But if I am working with somebody for 2 years or 3 years or 5 years, that person will know me pretty much in and out. And if you talk to that person, you definitely would get much in-depth review about my performance, my attitude, my daily schedule, how friendly I am, how approachable I am. He can tell you on all these parameters, okay? That definitely you can catch if you just talk to me only for 30 minutes. So that is true for anybody. So if you have to select a guy for your team in your office, then the best way is to talk to his boss, his previous boss, or anyone with whom he has worked, and then invite the guy for an interview. In the interview, talk to him elaborately on the subject matter to see whether the guy has experience, knowledge, wisdom, all the skills you are looking for. If everything goes fine, then you select the guy. So that's the only way of selecting the right person in the corporate world. So that's applicable even for business school consultant. You can certainly see all the websites of consultants. There are consultants that is working with large organizations. They have an army of people to update their websites with hundreds of blogs and videos and photographs and all these things. And consultants who are pretty independent, consultants like me, who don't have a very big team of people, an army of people, they don't have such a big website, even though my website is pretty vast, but still it is, in comparison to other larger organizations, it's not that much. So if you have to select a BSchools consultant, the best way is to go to Google, find out about the admission website, see the video testimonials, go to LinkedIn, talk to some people who have given the consultant some testimonials, and then talk to the consultant one-on-one for maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or 30 minutes. Typically, very busy consultants can't give you more than 30 minutes. And during the session, try to evaluate how friendly the guy is. Is he money-minded, or is he very approachable? Is he trying to upsell you, meaning is he trying to sell you plenty of services, or is he really concerned about your profile and how the profile should be placed? So via an interview, try to evaluate him on those various parameters, because those parameters, like how friendly he is, how approachable he is, how is he money-minded, or is he really empathetic about your profile, those things matters a lot once you start working. Well, cost is really a matter of concern. I know, US-based consultants, they charge almost around $5,000 to $7,000 for one application. That's a pretty huge amount of money. Consultants who are based in India, they do not charge as much, simply because the cost of living in India is 1/4 that of United States, because of the rupee-dollar exchange, and also because of the standard of living in India. Okay, so India-based consultants, they do not charge you a fortune, even though whatever they charge is not less, but that is not as high as that of US-based consultants. That's number one. Well, now regarding the worth, is it worth to hire the consultant? Well, to answer the question, just think about the fact that why do global companies hire McKinsey or BCG? Companies like Google, Citibank, American Express, Microsoft, don't they know how to run their business? Why do they hire consultants from McKinsey? Because McKinsey consultants charge you a fortune. Why do they hire McKinsey? Well, simple reason. Companies want to focus on their core competence, and they hire consultants for a variety of reasons. Reason number one is whatever is non-core that they can outsource. That's number one. Or in case they need some quick turnaround, then they hire consultants. They know that whatever the manpower they have in-house, they might take a longer time to accomplish a task, but they know that in case they hire McKinsey, because McKinsey consultants pretty much work almost 12 to 14 hours a day, so they can achieve the task much faster. So companies like Microsoft, Google, Citibank and all, they know that by hiring a consultant, they get a valuable service. First of all, the consultants from McKinsey and BCG, they are solving identical problems in various companies. If you go to McKinsey, either you are a consultant in their supply chain practice or in their marketing practice or on their HR practice. And as a consultant, maybe in the supply chain practice, you are solving the supply chain problem of various companies like General Electric, Boeing, Airbus, and many other companies, right? So as a consultant, you form your core competence around solving that particular problem. So you know the best practices in the industry, okay? So that knowledge is not available to somebody who is maybe working in Microsoft or General Electric, who is solving only Microsoft's problem, because he is not facing the problem of other companies. So companies know that when they hire a McKinsey consultant, they are hiring a knowledge powerhouse. Those people are solving the problem all across the industry, and they can come in, they can see the problem, they can pretty much fix the problem within a short span of time. They know the best industry practices and they will do the job right. So the probability of getting the job right is much, much higher if you hire a consultant from McKinsey and BCG. That is the reason they are paid that much. There are consultancy agencies who do not charge you a fortune like McKinsey does. Why don't those companies, Fortune 500 companies, do not hire small organizations? Simply because they know that McKinsey will hire the best consultants, and then they will give them the best training, and they will be put in some of the most challenging situations. And those consultants know a lot about the industry. So if they are hired to solve a problem, they will do it pretty much quickly with full efficiency, and it will be done right first time. So there won't be false starts. There won't be lapses. There won't be some errors in execution. So those things will be taken care of. But the McKinsey consultant also will charge you a fortune. That is there. So why do these companies hire McKinsey despite the cost? They find it worthy. That is the reason they hire McKinsey consultants. Should you hire a BSchools consultant? Yes, because hiring a consultant will allow you to save your time. The consultant can focus on your application while you can focus on your job, on GMAT. There are applicants, they keep on retaking GMAT because they want higher and higher GMAT, 690, 720, 740, that's the way they target because of the extreme competition, especially in the Indian pool. So when they can focus on their GMAT and on their busy work schedule, the consultant can put his focus on the application. So you save time. That's number one. Number two, you know that it will be done right. There are applicants who are so much passionate about the MBA application process. They keep on reading hundreds of articles in the various websites of various consultants, and they spend hours and hours in various forums. Now, it's not hard to become a semi-expert on MBA admissions if you read hundreds of articles in all the websites of all the consultants. If you read all the blogs in my website, then you will become kind of a semi-expert on MBA admissions. The only thing is that you do not know how to handle various people having different mindset because you have not worked as an application consultant. But regarding the technical knowledge, you will pretty much get it. So it is not hard to get. If you have the time to read hundreds of articles in my website, in accepted.com, Poets and Quant, Stacy Blackman, Admissionado, and all the various consultants' website, you will become kind of a semi-expert. Now, if you have the time, go on, do it. But the question is, if I fall sick today, should I just go to a doctor, or should I start reviewing medical journals and medical books? Because I am sick and I just need to fix it. It is not that after fixing my sickness, I will become a professional doctor and I will keep on fixing all other people. That's not my case. So if I am sick, it is better for me, it is time effective, it is cost effective for me to hire a doctor. If I have a legal trouble, it is cost effective and time effective, efficient for me to hire a lawyer, rather than trying to read all the legal articles and the books and become an expert myself. Now, in case you have an aspiration that after your MBA, you want to work as an admission consultant, then it is a good start. Should applicants hire a part-time MBA admission consultant? An MBA admission consultant who is not working full-time, but working part-time. He may be working in Amazon or McKinsey or any other company, and he is doing this. He is helping applicants with their application as a part-timer. Now, should anyone hire such consultants? My humble take here would be a no. If you look at any profession, you won't see part-timers as the best in their profession. If your house is on fire, you don't want part-time firefighters. If you need a lawyer, you do not need a part-time lawyer. If you want to get a heart surgery done, you do not need a part-time cardiac surgeon. You need a full-time cardiac surgeon because the job is critical. So similarly, your application for all these top-notch BSchools it's a pretty critical thing. Now, if you look at part-timers in any profession, are they driven by their passion? The answer is no. Part-timers in any profession, you don't see a part-time doctors, a part-time engineers, a part-time firefighters, or a part-time athlete. A part-time baseball player, a part-time basketball player, or a part-time politician. Have you seen one? The answer is no. Part-timers are not great in any profession. Primarily part-timers are driven by not for their passion for MBA admission consultancy, but they are driven by the financial benefit that is pretty much associated with MBA admission consultancy. That's a sorry fact, but it is a fact. After my B school, when I decided to become an MBA admission consultant some long time back, it never came in my mind to do it part-time because I was so passionate about the whole thing. I started it full-time. Similarly, there are plenty of other people who have started their MBA admission consultancy firm. Either it is Accepted or Stacy Blackman or Admissionado or other firms. So those people who were the founders of any firm, they were full-timers. They worked with hundreds of applicants to make a good name, to make a good brand for their organization. So they were driven by passion to excel in their craft, to deliver a huge amount of value to the applicants. And that's the way those organizations became famous. And once they became famous, they basically hired a lot of part-timers from all these top-notch programs like Harvard, Stanford, Wharton, Chicago, Booth and all, because a lot of applicants approached them for their application, and they somehow found it business-wise profitable to hire graduates from Harvard and all to serve thousands of applicants. It's a good business strategy, but the case is, amidst all this business strategy, the very passion for business school admission consultancy, the passion for mentoring, the mentoring a junior, mentoring a guy, that passion gets missed somewhere. That's my view, because till date I hired 3 part-time consultants, 2 from Chicago Booth, 1 from Kellogg. They basically were working either in Amazon or other companies like GE and all. And I It happened some 5 to 6 years back, and when the number of clients were too big for me to handle alone, then I hired 3 of them. And after some time, after a span of 6 months, I basically discontinued with all 3 of them, simply because the passion to serve, the passion to mentor, that passion was missing. It was more of a kind of a transaction, a business deal in which I give you a certain amount of time and you pay me a certain amount of money. And regarding the money, I mean, it's another sorry fact in MBA admission world that part-timers are paid at the max 40% to 50% of the service charge you pay to an agency. I mean, if you have paid $5,000 to any agency in US, or it may be $1,000 or $2,000 to any agency in India or in Asia, then the agency will pay at the max 40 to 50% to the particular admission consultant who is working as a part-time MBA admission consultant with the agency. So if you have paid $5,000 to a big consulting firm, the part-time consultant gets only $2,500 at the max. So those people who are primarily driven by their financial benefit, it is natural for them to believe and to think that if they take more and more clients, certainly they will have higher and higher profit both for their organization as well as for them personally. So I have observed the tendency that they want to take on more clients. Okay, that's the natural course of action. That is simply not a very healthy way to look at MBA admission consultancy. My suggestion would be it is better to work with the founder of any company. I'm not asking you to take my service. You can take the service of any organization, but my suggestion would be always work with the founder of the company. Okay, because that is the person who started the whole thing. He is passionate about mentoring. He knows the craft much better. He knows how to handle each student in a different way. Even though at the very beginning of the video I said that if you are a rockstar applicant, like if you have 780 GMAT, if you have wonderful leadership profile and extraordinary extracurricular achievement, you do not need to hire an MBA admission consultant. I mean, when I applied to business school, I did not hire the service of a graduate admission consultant. I did it all by myself. But I want to tell you one thing, that just imagine Roger Federer or Tiger Woods. These athletes are great athletes, but do they have coaches? The answer is yes. So why do they have coaches? They know they are the best, but still they hire a coach and they basically scout the best possible coach in the world and they get mentored by them. So why do they hire a coach? The reason is a person who himself has a good competence on that particular subject can always add on some value, okay? Because that particular person, his way of thinking is way different from yours. A coach has seen a number of players, their lifestyle, their career graph, their mistakes, how they come back from their injury or how they come back from their mistakes and all. What is their mindset? What is their psychology? How are they dealing with their opponents? So the coach has the vantage point to see the player from multiple angles. So certainly he can give valuable suggestion to someone like Roger Federer or Tiger Woods. And that is the reason Roger Federer or Tiger Woods or any other great athlete or even great actors, they have their coaches. Rockstar applicants, typically people who have a great GMAT, great leadership profile and all, they target great schools like Harvard, Stanford, Wharton. And in that level, the competition is very intense because most of the people applying to Harvard, Stanford, Wharton and Kellogg and all, they are extremely good. So in that extreme competition, it is better to have a coach. You can certainly do it all by yourself. That is your decision. But I believe hiring an MBA admission consultant, even in your case, would be beneficial.